Welcome, viewer, to this segment, another segment of modern beekeeping, which we call apiculture. In the previous segments, we looked at the modern apiary, and we mentioned a few things. However, today I want us to look at the bee family. In the previous segment, we talked of a colony, that the colony has got three types of bees. We have the queen, we have the worker bee, and we have the drone. And I'll specifically today emphasize more on the queen bee, because we only have one queen bee in our colony. And therefore that tells us that it's a very important member of this family. So that's what we will look at more. But just to mention, the queen bee, when the egg has been laid, through the larva to the queen coming into being, it takes 14 to 15 days. Actually 14 days. When you look at the worker bee takes 18 or 19 days. And then, of course, we have the drone that takes 24 days. So the queen takes a very short time to mature. That is from the egg to the queen, as opposed to the drone and the worker bee. Now, the queen lives for that is between 4 to 6 years. That is the lifespan of the queen. The drone lives between 4 to 8 months, and the worker bee lives between 4 and 6 weeks. The lifespan of the worker bee is very short, and this is well explained because of the various activities that the worker bee does. It does a lot of activities in the hive, from getting nectar or pollen or water, from to nursing the bees, to guarding the hive, to scouting for new homes, to fanning the hive when it's very hot. They have to keep the hive at a certain temperature. If the hive is very cold, they have to again come together and raise the temperature of that particular hive. So that's why the lifespan of the worker bee is very short. The queen lives longer, basically because it feeds on a very special substance that we call the royal jelly. Actually, the royal jelly is one of the 6 products that we get from the bees, and very expensive. Royal, as the name goes, it is meant to be eaten by the queen, not anybody else. And an egg, right when the egg has been identified, has been put in the queen cell, we'll talk about the queen cell, that larva is fed on the royal jelly. This royal jelly transforms that egg or that larva into a queen, in that the body is made in a way that it can lay eggs, both fertilized and unfertilized. Now, let us now look at the queen. And as we have said, the queen lives between 4 to 6 years. The queen lays up to 2,000 eggs each single day. What that means, if you do your quick calculations, it means that the queen lays 1 egg after every 43 seconds. That is a healthy queen. And that is what it does. There has been a notion that some people have, or others have, that the queen controls, and ideally we believe that the queen controls the hive. To the contrary, again, the queen may not control the hive. The hive is controlled by the worker bees. Because that's when the queen lays in the eggs in their cells, the workers decide to form, not on the instructions of the queen, they decide to form the queen cells. When the queen comes and encounters the queen cell, it then goes ahead and lays the fertilized egg. If it's not the queen cell, it lays the unfertilized egg. And the unfertilized egg is the one that transforms into a drone. A fertilized egg will transform into a queen or a worker bee. Therefore, from the way the cells have been constructed by the worker bees, they will dictate the queen on which egg to lay, whether fertilized or unfertilized. And therefore, the workers also can decide to kill the queen, especially if the queen becomes unproductive. The worker bees may kill the queen and form another different queen. So in such a scenario, is it the queen or the worker bee that is in control of the hive? If they kill the queen, or if the queen is eliminated from the hive, they have to find another new queen. That is the one I'm talking about. The worker bees will identify an egg. Once they identify this egg, especially that is less than 3 days, they will feed it with loyal jelly, such that it transforms into a queen. After 14 days, now it becomes a queen. That egg that has been fed on the loyal jelly, that now has become a queen. The queen now comes out of that queen cell. What happens? They may form a handful of other queens. When there's no queen in that hive, the worker bees may create several queens. When they create the several queens, now here is the trick. Because there can only be one queen in a hive or in a colony. The queen that comes out first, it moves out, moves around the hive, finds if there is any other queen. If it realizes that there are other queen cells and there are other queens that are yet to come out, the queen that has come out first kills all these other queens. And therefore, it remains a single queen. Once this has happened, and it's important to note that from the time we don't have a queen, or the hive is queenless, to the time it acquires another queen, it takes a period of 29 days. Now, when this queen has killed any other potential queen that was to hatch, now it takes what we call the nupito flight. The nupito flight, now this is the time when the queen goes out. It moves out of the hive, goes to an area where there are other drones, or where there are drones for the purposes of mating. The queen only mates once in her lifetime with the drones. Actually, it's not a drone, it's several drones. And it's important also to note that they met in the air. And when that happens in the air, once a drone has met with the queen, it dies. Now, if that drone does not die and finds its way to the hive, the queen, the worker bees will eject that drone from the hive. Why? Because it has outlived its sole purpose. The sole purpose of the drone is to mate with the queen. And if by any chance that drone survives, it is never allowed back to that hive, and therefore it will stray and die. Now, the mating process is done by a virgin queen. The queen, once it gets out, it goes and mates with several males, of course, in that flight, and after an ejaculation, as we have seen from that drone, it dies. The virgin queen only attend to one mating flight, only once in its lifetime. That one, I have already talked about it. Now, what happens? What happens when it has moved out, met with the drones? What happens? The queen stores up to 100 million sperms in our oviduct. It stores the sperms for our entire life. And therefore, once it has done that, it uses the sperms to fertilize the eggs. As I had mentioned, that there are different egg cells. These egg cells, now they dictate the queen on which egg to lay, whether it's fertilized or unfertilized. The worker bees are very many in the hive. They are in tens of thousands, because a hive can have between 10 to 80,000 bees. The drones are in hundreds, and of course we have one drone, one queen. And therefore, if the egg cell is made in a way that it dictates the queen that here we need a fertilized egg, that's what the queen will do. The queen will drop a fertilized egg. It will drop an unfertilized egg depending on the instructions or on how the egg has been, the egg cell has been constructed by the worker bees. And as we had talked earlier, a fertilized egg forms a worker bee or a queen. The unfertilized egg forms a drone. And therefore, the unfertilized eggs or the fertilized eggs become they can form or they can make the worker bees. Worker bees do not mate. Worker bees do not mate with the drones. However, worker bees can lay eggs. But the eggs, because they have not met with the drones, the eggs that they lay are not fertilized. That tells us that if our queen dies and the worker bees do not manage to have an egg that was a fertilized egg, and then feed it with the loyal jelly and turn it into a queen, worker bees can lay eggs, but they will lay unfertilized eggs. When they lay unfertilized eggs, then what that means is that we will have drones, because drones are the ones that are hatched out of unfertilized eggs. Thank you, viewer. We have talked about the queen and the worker bees and the drone. Now, in our next segment, we will look at another aspect of beekeeping. It's very important that as you venture into beekeeping, into the modern way of beekeeping, you must understand the bees, their biology, who they are, how they are created, and how they behave in such a way. Then it will help you to know how to manage your hive. You will know when the queen is there and when the queen is dead. You will know that this queen is strong or it's not. The queen will determine the nature of the hive, whether it will be a strong colony or a weak colony. A queen, if it does not lay between 1,500 to 2,500 eggs in a day, then that means that you have a very weak colony that may not give you returns, especially in production of honey. Thank you so much.